Good evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the NASDAQ 100 for Tuesday, April 19th, 2022. Again, an interesting day. If you listened to my update last night, I was saying it was an interesting day for the bulls and the bears. Today, the follow through is definitely more interesting for those on the bullish side than anywhere else. Though it did allow me to make a change to that minor wave one, which was still the very beginning of that intermediate third wave down. I'll update that in a second, just to review the larger picture. Again, no changes to be made there. I continue to count the 16,768 high as the completion point for intermediate wave 5, primary wave 5, cycle wave 5, and super cycle wave 3. And that puts us in a super cycle fourth wave correction, which I have discussed in detail, that is going to take some time to unfold. And the fact that we've now had basically 5 months of correction, or maybe a little longer, 6 months, is not cutting it at all in terms of what it's going to take to resolve the issues that are forcing the correction, that are causing the correction. So it does become very interesting to watch what gets said. So my larger picture remains the same. We have enough forces within this global economy, which, by the way, there's no denial. It is a one world global economy, and it has preset itself. So it is happening. It's already in place. The agreements have been made. The treaties are, everything is there. So what is kind of swirling around the globe is partially due to individual actions within our own country, but there are also actions that are being done by Russia, being done by China, which are being done by other large economic powerful countries around the globe. And so what happens to one ends up filtering through a system that will end up affecting everybody. So regardless of what we hear, and for example, I may even commented it on last night, that I noticed that there was a CNBC segment, and I only caught it in the TOS Platforms news. So that's where I found it. And it was some analyst, now I can't even remember the name of the bank or fund that this person came from, but they basically were saying that inflation is tamed. Yeah, interest rates under control. We all got that. So there's no threat, there's no worry about any consequences befalling the stock market. Well, after sliding out of my chair, I was like, that's crazy. How would somebody know that? How would somebody's model tell them that? And so I thought it to be very interesting. Well, enough people listen to that. And then they wheel out Bullock, who is a Fed president, Fed governor, and he determines that it's like, this is the man that was crying wolf. You know, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. Just a short while ago. Now suddenly he's talking about, well, maybe we can live with a 50 basis point hike. So maybe we don't need to go as far as I was talking about before. And I'm like, okay, so what pressure were you under? No matter what is being said, what is going on is for real. To say that it's over now is kind of understandable, but unbelievable. So I just want to tell you the truth here, according to me, right? The truth is that denial or false narratives will not stop the corrective process. I mean, it's truly not a matter of being right or wrong. It has to be a matter of trading what's in front of us, and without caring or giving any regard to the who, what, where, when, or why, but participating in both directions. So the opportunities on both sides are numerous. They're coming in large numbers. So one way that I interpret this is that people really do have an interest in trading. And this is what we have in our country to do it. We've got these exchanges, we've got all this. There's so much going on, and people want to trade. So I suppose, like being an old options market maker, that's what we wanted. We needed people to trade. We were there providing the market, and we needed people to come in and trade. Well, now we're in the market and we do throw an offer out or a bid out, and we're looking to buy or sell options, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm doing the same thing. We want to trade. So it doesn't matter. I mean, this is the other thing. No matter what your style of trading is, whether you're a day trader, a swing trader, position trader, futures traders, options trader, there is more to do than I can say. And I'm talking about in all the markets, because what's happening, again, I'm going to tell you the pecking order. What's happening coming down in that pecking order, interest rates, the dollar, foreign currency, the bonds, the equity markets, et cetera. Keep going. The consumer, the producer, your profits, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's filtering down. To say it's done is to ignore the avalanche that's coming from behind you. And if you can't hear it, well, that's your problem. But I digress, because what I'm saying is that none of that thought. I mean, it's going to happen. So we want to be prepared. We want to be able to stand in an area of calm, have a mindset so you can see the opportunities, so you can see where the premium is, and you know how to trade the premium. You know what type of position to put on that captures the premium and minimizes your risk. There is a lot to do, people, and there's a lot of things to trade. So let me move on. I'm sorry, I digress. The correction is going to happen. I still believe it. That's intermediate 1 and 2 of this first 5 waves down. At a minimum, I will tell you that if this had to be A and this had to be B, both on an intermediate degree level, I'd still be looking for a drop down to 9,000 or lower within this third wave or this C wave. And then we'll determine how deep we are and at what level we are. But the correction itself is unfolding, is beginning. Now, today, due to the fact that they came out and said, oh, we've got everything under control, I believe they pushed and they decided to force the market higher. Now I'm coming down to the hourly chart. Again, I've taken the Fibonacci off so that we can re-add it. But here's kind of where we were coming in this morning. Come here, we got this, looking for a little bit more. And I believe I was talking about up to, the 200, I said we possibly could get to. And then again, there was levels before it. Well, they got exceeded. And what that always will do is not change the outlook from, oh my God, are we really looking for a crash here when we're up 500? It's like, yeah, we are. Not actually today, but I am still looking for serious downside. But why can't I participate in it up 500? I don't need to know why somebody's doing it. I'll look at that later. But while it's happening, there's a lot going on. And if you know how to read price action, you know how to use a couple of indicators at work, and you have a strategy and you have your rules, why would you stop yourself from trading when no matter what it's doing? The same rules are going to apply, right? Your same rules apply because your rule, number one, is to make money. So plenty to do. Again, coming in, I had to take a step back and I took a look because I had this, which kind of was a fooler. Then I came down and then I had this, which almost is topping above that 4. So as the position that it was in was too big. Now, I know I said that it could actually come up to 14,296 and it still can, but it's a little bit different. So I came down and this third wave is what I've now extended. And that is not breaking any rules. It's just rounding out what the market is telling us. You will often hear me say that I let the market tell me what it wants to do, where it's going. I just put it into a wave form, an Elliott wave form, so I can get an idea of what's coming next. So this is just still a continuation of a corrective bounce. It's not leading to the possibility of new highs. I wouldn't say it's even leading to a possibility we go back to 15,000. If we did, I won't be tremendously shocked, but it'll be tradable. That's my point. I will continue to say what I think is coming, But even if it went up to here, it still does not take away the necessity for this market to turn and just absolutely nosedive. So however high they want to take it, it's not reversing the position of what lies out there. It's not taking away inflation. You can go to 5,500. Have you cured inflation, or you just BSing everybody? I don't know. But I can tell you that until I can see the hard evidence that that's what's happening, why would I stop believing that the market's going to go down? Just because everybody else is convinced and they're jumping on the bandwagon and having to go out, or for whatever the reason is. There's trading. So if you're going to ask me, did I buy today? I sure did. Why wouldn't I? Market went up big. Those moves were nice. Trading the future was not that hard. Anyway, for tomorrow, I am now counting this corrective phase, and that's off of that 13,729 low, I believe it is. We'll call it, 32, I'm going to call it. So we're down in that area. So that is now the completion point for minor wave 1. Remember, the intermediate third wave will consist of 5 waves of minor degree. Now wave 1 has been extended down again. So wave 1 becomes an extended wave. So initially what we look for is 5 waves down. When we got that, we put a 1 under it. But wave 1 can also contain an extended wave. And as it continued, that's pretty much what came through. Again, not breaking any rules, not shifting any rules. Everything is countable and holds within the guidelines and the rules under Elliott. So the move itself is what's continuing. And as I continue to say, it's fluid. The market is fluid. It's going to react daily, intraday, overnight. It reacts to its own input. Right now, they crave news. They crave direction. They crave what should we be doing. And so often traders will grab onto one thing or another and off the races. Now, everybody's thinking, oh, we must be good. If everyone is so comfortable that we should continue up, well, then they're believing that earnings should be good. Okay, Netflix came out with their earnings. Not really sure because I haven't gone to take a look, but stocks down a lot. That's going to put pressure on ye old NASDAQ. So we've already saw it after the close. Come on, please. Yikes. Pain in the ass, huh? Anyway, boom. That's the earnings. Netflix. Boom. 1. Tomorrow we have Tesla. So let me just tell you that even though we get that, you want to tell how the pack trades? Tesla's being marked down. Closed at 1,028, 1,018 bid. Man, maybe I don't want to pay 28. I'm not going to buy it up there. Okay, Google closes at 2,600, 2576 bid. Okay, I'll go there. I'll bid there. Well, I'm offering at 82 then, right? Look at it. Amazon, 3162 close, 3120 bid. So, there's a lot that's going to be trading. We got a lot going on. We need to continue to allow for a finishing move, although I can count. I probably could do the ABC up to here, ABC, B down to here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wave C. That second wave could be done, and what we're falling hand over, rolling down that hill is, again, the start of wave 3. I can't come up with anything else. Although, if it stops, on this one, I could go, oh, A, B, and we're still in C. There might be a different way that somebody else could figure that on a 4-hour or a daily chart. And see, it doesn't, maybe this is A, we get the B, and we're still going to C wave up. So going back down to that hourly chart, if it's a wave 2, let's throw up a Fibonacci for retracements. Okay. Now, this is taking a look at the market technically, and that's something that we always want to do because it's really how it moves. And since we now think that Fibonacci, everything are technical, even though they're more than that. Okay, so the 382 level, which is totally the most common, well, actually a little bit below. The most common is 50%. Next is 382. Third is 618. So 382 hasn't been reached. We're getting close. So that's 14,322. But that was all before we dropped pretty sharply because of Netflix. So again, we have to leave room that we can come up to here or here. So possibly this is all A and this is B. We're coming off in a B, and it could get wicked. B waves are just all of the above: devious, deceitful. They deceive you. And so if it's a B and then we get a C. So part of what I wanted to say today, we run the possibility, not necessarily probability, I don't know how high I want to give it, that we just stay inside and we form a box that'll be the wave 2. That can happen. So this could be A, it could be all of it. So allow for all of the above. But the moves are nice, just trade what's in front of you. So we leave open the potential to getting up into this zone, even to getting up this high, 14,818. We still have an expiration coming on Friday. They kind of came in gangbusters looking for this thing to roar. And they got it up pretty good. They got it up actually really good. Dow up over 500. It was like, oh, wow, okay, convincing. Let's see what they continue to do. Downside would suggest we start to break back below the moving averages. You notice how things are kind of still sitting right about that hourly 200. That's now flat. It's going to be resistance. Got through it, did a nice job of getting through it, came back, dropped back down, and then sold. So it continued to be the magnet and then ended up being resistance. If we start to break back below the 20, back below the 50, and then of course the 4 and the 8 will follow suit, but the 20 drops back below the 50, gives a little bit of impetus for the sellers to put some pressure on the market. All right, could be a trigger point for more getting out of long positions or shifting positions, etc. So we're going to be looking for the 8 to drop below the 20, then the 50, but eventually for the 20 to go below the 50. Then we're back in alignment to go down. But we could stay in this box for a day or two. We'll see. So if it starts to break, then it's got to break here. And we really have to break that low to give confirmation that the next line is down. And let me add that it has to really kind of collapse. It has to go. It's no more fooling around like, oh, maybe I'll show, and they drop it and rally it back up to an equal amount. If that happens, then we're still in that B wave scenario. If it just drops, rallies little, drops, it's a tone change. It could be sellers are going to come in. So it could be very tradable. All right, I'm going to leave it there because these tend to get on a little bit too much. But thank you for listening, and I hope that the information is good. So tomorrow, I'm going to allow for the upside. I know what my downside scenario is. I'll be playing no matter what. Have a great trading day tomorrow, and the next update will be on Wednesday the 20th.